Sewing for a living. Is it worth it? Can you make some real money with your sewing skills? How experienced and skilled you need to be to even start? What are some ways that you can make money with your sewing skills? And is the sewing business hard? I've been sewing professionally for the past 15 years, and in this video I'll be answering all of these questions plus some more. So if you have been thinking about starting a sewing business or any other craft business for that matter, stick around, as hopefully this video can help you make a decision whether or not to go into this direction. How can I make money sewing? There are many ways to make money with your sewing skills, and they very much depend on your skill level, your preferences, and which way you are willing to go. One way to make money sewing, and a very traditional one, is to offer your skills as a service. And you can go two ways here. You can offer sewing alterations and repairs, or you can offer custom sewing. In fact, if you are running a sewing studio, you can offer both. At least that's what I did in the beginning of my sewing career. So sewing alterations and repairs are where many sewists start. But in my opinion, this is not the easiest way to go. They require knowledge and they require some imagination, and they can be really challenging. You need to know different sewing techniques. You need to know which seam is after the other in order to break seams and repair. You might think of sewing repairs as zippers and hems, and there are a lot of zippers and hems, but they are usually not the main source of income. There are also nasty tears here and there that you have to think about. It's some imagination and creativity required, but also a solid sewing knowledge. You have to know sewing technology, which sewing step comes after the other, so that you can approach the job creatively and make a damaged piece of clothing as good as new. And with custom sewing, there's a lot to be known about the human figure, the growth proportions. They differ between sizes, they differ between sexes. These two, in my opinion, are appropriate for more skilled seamstresses. With that said, sewing alterations and repairs can be really profitable if you set your prices right and consider the amount of time and work you put into every job. I say that because many of us don't price their work appropriately. Clients come and say, "Oh, but you see, I had these jeans for $20 and you want, let's say, 15 for a zipper replacement." And it is so. I understand the clients, but you have to know that your service is a custom service, it's a specialized service, and everything comes out of your hands and it has to pay. Otherwise, there's no point into running a business. You are going to be busy, your clients are going to be happy, and you are not going to make any money. Selling a product that you've sewn. Selling a product that you've sewn or a product that you've created with your sewing skills seems a very obvious way to go, and it is. If you have a good product, people would love to buy it. There is always a market for handmade goods and crafts. Some people love handmade, some people love crafts, and they would always prefer them over the mass production. So you can definitely make money selling your sewn item. You can also make money selling digital products. How? For example, I sell digital sewing patterns. You can sell tutorials, step-by-steps, technical sketches, technical drawings, and why not patterns? There are many independent designers I know in the sewing niche. I know there are a lot in crochet and knitting. For physical products, it's very obvious. You can sew whatever you like to create. For example, fabric flowers, accessories, clothes, dog clothes. I've seen people selling rave clothing. I've seen people selling swimwear successfully. It's up to you. With physical products, you'll have to figure out shipping. With digital products, you don't have to think about shipping and you don't have to think about stocking. As always, you should provide an outstanding client service. So this could be a nice niche to consider as well. Where to sell your creations and crafts. You can sell your creations both locally and online. Let's start with some places where you can sell locally, the old brick and mortar way. You can sell on crafts fairs, you can sell on farmers markets, you can sell in accessories and clothing shops, at festivals, and depending on your product, why not in some art galleries. And online, you can sell both on big platforms like Etsy, where you sell only handmade, and you can also sell on your own online shop, which you can make on platforms like WordPress with WooCommerce. This is my case. You can also use Shopify, you can use PrestaShop. There are many different options depending on your budget and on your skill level. With creating an online shop, there is technical stuff involved, which we crafters tends to be not so skilled at. So there are platforms that would cost a bit more, but they would provide the technical support you need, and there you will have less control over some things. And there are platforms where you can build your website and self-host it, and you would certainly have more control, but you would also have more responsibilities. You would need some technical skills or someone who provides technical skills so that you can keep things running up and smoothly for your visitors and clients. Selling online is a great way to reach a lot of people. I use Etsy, I sell my patterns there. I have another shop where I sell physical products that I've sewn. My own shop, which is hosted on my blog, also provides some sales. Platforms like Etsy are great. They have commissions, but they take care of sales tax on your behalf. They take care of the platform running smoothly, technical issues. For a small commission, you get a lot of peace of mind, but you have to operate on their rules. They change things every now and then. You have to keep up in order to be in compliance with their rules. And on your own online store, you have much more freedom, but as you know, with freedom comes responsibilities. Every technical issue is on your part, but on the other end, I sell there on my own rules. This shop is mine, and I don't have to worry if something happens to it or not, if someone closes the platform, if I'm no longer wanted on this platform or whatever. This online store is mine, and I feel more confident in my business. So probably you don't even have to choose. You can sell on a platform and on your own website, depending on how you see your business and what's your business plan. And then there are social networks where you can also sell successfully. There is a TikTok shop now where you can sell your creations directly. You can also sell on Instagram and Facebook. You will have to do marketing, you will have to do search engine optimization if you want to have visitors and potential buyers of your products. And this comes with the set of many other skills that you have to acquire as a business owner. Freelancing. Another path that you might take is freelancing. In the beginning, when my business was really small and my profits were low, I would freelance for other designers, bloggers, and creators. I would write for their blogs, I would write copy for their socials, I would draft patterns for others, I would create these little booklets with the sewing instructions. This is another way you can monetize your craft skills. You can go on platforms like freelancer.com or Fiverr, make a profile and start offering your freelance services. Teaching. And then of course there is teaching. Teaching is probably the most profitable of them all if you organize it appropriately. If you know how to sew, you are probably skilled enough to teach others how to do it. And you can do this offline, you can do this locally. People love to come and see how you do things with your hands, so you can show them and they can look over your shoulder and they can ask questions. And then there are people that prefer to watch sewing lessons online, as there is nobody that offers this service locally, or they just don't have the time to visit a place and they want to learn from the convenience of their own home. Online courses and local sewing courses are a great way for making money. I know a lot of people ask me to teach them both locally and online, so there is a market for that as well. Blogging and overall online presence. You monetize a blog or your overall online presence, like on socials and other platforms and YouTube. There are different ways to do that as well. You can run ads by Google, which I do. You can take partnerships. You can switch to other ads partners like Mediavine, which just happened to me. I've just reached the required minimum of sessions and visits to my blog so that I can monetize with Mediavine. Affiliate platforms are a great way to earn commissions as well. You can recommend things that you like. I like to recommend things that I've bought on Amazon, for example, or other products that I've used, and they provide a small commission at no additional cost to the buyer for a visitor or a buyer that came to their website through my link. And that's another way that I monetize. I also monetize my blog with the Ko-fi platform, where people donate small amounts in exchange for my free tutorials that they found useful, and this way they help me keep my blog running, because running a blog, believe it or not, costs money. It also costs a lot of time. So I believe there is no shame into monetizing a blog by advertising and affiliate commissioning other products, as long as you do it genuinely and you really like the things that you recommend to your audience. Starting a creative business is much like starting any other business. You probably need to register a business entity. The rules for this and the type of entity would depend on where you live. For example, I live in a country where we don't have untaxable minimum, so I have to pay taxes for the first cent that I make, and I have to make it under the right legal entity. So I had to register a business from day one when I started. In your country, this might not be the case. You have to know what are the rules and you have to follow them so that you don't have troubles later on. You probably need a bookkeeping service since day one so that you have your things in order and there are not unpleasant surprises later on, because in the beginning you might not think of your hobby as a business, but it would grow, and when it grows and when things back there are not right, it can cause troubles. So make sure that you think this through. You might go as an individual or LLC. It pretty much depends on your business goals, business plan, and your overall situation. If you are offering sewing services, you would probably need a place. That would be a small studio. You would probably need to pay rent. You will probably have to update your sewing park, invest in more or better sewing machines. You might not need to do this right away, but eventually, if you want to sew faster and if you want to sew with more quality, you will get to a point where you need to update your machines. If you choose to run a blog, you would probably have to pay for hosting. So you might choose to grow organically, or you might choose to pay for ads. Either way, you're going to need a working space dedicated to your small business. Working from a kitchen table is not a good idea. I've been there, done that, and I am going to tell you the amount of time that you spend setting the working place and then moving everything out so that the table functions as a table, and then you move all of your stuff back there. This is so time consuming. It does no good to any business. One thing that I've learned the hard way: if you are going to start a business, treat it like a business. Don't treat it like a hobby, because if you treat it like a business, it will make profits like a business, and if you treat it like a hobby, it will make profits like a hobby. Is it hard to run a sewing business? Running a sewing business, a crafts business, a small business is just as hard as running a big business. Why? Because you have to have all business systems in place. You have to do everything that a big business does, plus some more. There would be broken equipment, there would be problems with technicians or bookkeepers, everything that goes into running a business. And at some point, all this will come out, and you have to be prepared. You have to have the right mindset, and you have to think that you run an actual business, and it comes with the good and bad of running a business. On the good side, it's my business, I run it, I get to take free time for family and other affairs whenever I want to, and I have to make my own decisions and choices, and I'm allowed to express my creativity in a way that I probably couldn't have if I was working for someone else. You don't have to be a sewing god to start a sewing business. You might be an expert in just one area. You might be an expert in producing something. You might be an expert in drafting patterns. You might be an expert in writing tutorials. We crafters often tend to feel like imposters, but if you're doing the thing, you are good enough to do the thing. So go and do the thing, and why not make some money along the way? Running a small crafts business can be stressful. It's a one-woman show here. I run everything, the blog, the YouTube channel, the pattern making. I draft my patterns, I write my sewing instructions, I take my pictures, I do my socials, and sometimes it's stressful. I know other sewing bloggers and designers that hire freelancers, that use services, that have their patterns drafted or their instructions written or their socials taken care of. And that is great because this way they have time to focus on what they're best at and create more and more of what people like them for. Whichever way you choose to go would depend on your budget, will depend on your personality, and would depend on your experience. So final words here, running a sewing business is a business like any other business. It can be hard, it can be stressful, but it can be very profitable. Don't be afraid to go into a niche that seems saturated, that a lot of people do, because if it is so, there is money in this niche, there is money to be earned with your sewing skills. There are a lot of people who make money with their sewing skills, both online and offline, and why not you?